This show.
Break it up. Commercial break, please.
All right, so President Salinas, President George W. Bush, and the Prime Minister of Canada signed NAFTA, North America Free Trade Agreement. The indigenous people and the Zapatistas complained that it was going to put poor farmers in Mexico out of business because they would be able to buy cheaper goods now from the United States and not buy the goods from the Mexican farmers. So that was their complaint going into NAFTA. All right, scene 5, action.
Welcome back. I must apologize for the violent scene on the show. Obviously, Miss Mustard brings out the worst in these men.
Whatever, James. I bring some excitement to the show. So, who are you? You handsome masked man.
My name is Sub-Commander Marcos. I am the leader of the Zapatistas. We will fight for injustice for the injustice for the indigenous people.
Oh, Sub-Commander, I just love your powerful voice and conviction.
I give up. Fart all you want, Sylvia.
Although I do believe in women's rights, just as my hero Zapata. I just do not have time for all this right now. I am too busy helping people who need me. Miss Mustard, with your good looks, I am sure you can have any man in the world.
Thank you, Sub-Commander. Whenever you finish saving the people of... Give me a call.
Mr. Sub-Commander, what do you feel that NAFTA is wrong?
Native farmers cannot compete with the wave of cheap U.S. imports. We needed to show the world that Mexican government was forcing our people out of business and into starvation.
How did you exactly go about showing the world?
We seized control of several towns in the state of Chiapas. Yes, we forced to use guns and other weapons to prove our point. We continued to battle the Mexican army for several weeks.
Yeah, that's right. But did it last long? No, because the Mexican army forced the Zapatistas back into the jungles and mountains of Chiapas, where they belong. You guys are just a bunch of no-good terrorists. You want to go?
Come on. Fight, people! Fight! I need to fight. This is going on YouTube.
Oh, yes, no, what? Take us to a commercial break.
Alrighty, so, Marcos is saying, shame on NAFTA, you're not helping the Mexican people. Mexican military says, Marcos, you're just a terrorist, go away. Okay? Alright, scene 6, action.
Sub-Commander Marcos and the Mexican army from the stage. I noticed that the Mexican army called the Zapatistas terrorists. And are they terrorists or are they revolutionists? To answer that question, please welcome Professor Santana from the National University of Mexico.
Hola! I am Senora Santana. I've come from the university to share with you just some information. It'll be very fast, so make sure that you're watching and listening and paying attention. We are short of time. All right. Now, some people claim that Zapatistas are terrorists. Some people say they're revolutionists. What's the difference between the two? Terrorists use violence and force to get what they want, whereas a revolutionist will use reasoning and honesty for the same purpose. What?
Senora Santana is that evil teacher.
Terrorists will often destroy property and kill people to prove their point, whereas a revolutionist is not involved in unlawful activities. Why isn't it up there? Oh, I guess when the power's on that.
Yep, the power.
I was like, why aren't they looking at the screen? Look at me. Did that light turn green? Okay.
We're going on YouTube.
Alright, it'll come up in a second, I think. Alright, a terrorist is labeled a criminal, whereas a revolutionist is often highly respected. A terrorist will attack civilians to spread fear, while revolutionists will not attack private civilians, they only attack military of their enemy. So, here is a picture of Zapatistas. Looking at their picture, pictures, what do you think? Terrorists or revolutionists? They do have their face covered. Okay. Here is another picture of the Zapatistas. This is the Commander Marcos. He's smoking here. You see they're very patriotic. They have their flag. Now, what is a guerrilla? They do use guerrilla warfare. Usually with guerrilla warfare, you have a small military group that's non-traditional. Okay? They usually do not represent a country, but they represent a cause. They use surprise attacks. So you see this picture here. These are not Zapatistas, though. This is just a guerrilla group. Okay?
Gorilla.
Now, guerrilla or not guerrilla? No. Okay? Here are the Zapatistas. Okay? So, in your opinion, at this point, are they terrorists or are they revolutionists? Okay? Well, a little bit of background. They are fighting, remember they fight for a cause. Their cause is to improve the rights and living conditions of indigenous Mexican people living in Chiapas. That was a mouthful. Okay? Chiapas is located right here in southern Mexico. That's the Yucatan Peninsula where people like to go on trips. And here is southern Mexico. They have lots and lots of natural resources. A whole bunch of natural resources. The Zapatistas was named after Emiliano Zapata because he was also fighting for the rights of people. Over half of Mexico's hydroelectric power comes from Chiapas. It's the second largest petroleum producing state. What is petroleum used for? Gas. Yeah, oil. It's the largest coffee exporting state. You know, I find that important. So what's the big deal? They have all this stuff that they have, natural resources. Here's the big deal. 3/4 of the people are malnourished. Half of them live in dwellings with dirt floors. 19% of the population in Chiapas has no income. 39% make less than $3 a day. However, they're a huge contributor to global economy. That's international economy. Okay? But they get very, very little in return. Housing. Let's take this classroom, for instance. If you are all indigenous people living in Chiapas, 7 of you do not have running water in your home. 1 of you has no electricity at all, 2015. 4 of you have no sewage or drainage system. You're like that sloth. You're having to dig your hole. Okay? 4 of you have dirt floors. 22 of you have to cook with wood or coal. You don't have gas stoves or electric stoves. Okay? Over half of you, 14 of you, have a household that's bigger than 4.4 people. Now remember, when we look at averages, you're going to have decimals. Okay? And then 4 of you have a landline telephone. The rest of you do not.
Cell phones. Okay?
No cell phone. 3 of you in this room would have a computer. 1.5 of you would have internet access. Okay, you're taking an average. Like 3 plus 2 is 5, divided by 2 is 2.5. 4.5 of you would have a car or a truck. The rest of you would have no means of transportation. Okay? Education. 16% of you do not go to school after the age of 15. Okay? 10% of you between the ages of 5 and 14 do not go to school at all. The average year of schooling is 6.7 years of schooling. Guess what? You guys have gone 6.7 years of schooling. So after this, you wouldn't have any more schooling if you live there. Okay? And it also has one of the highest illiteracy rates, not literacy rates, but illiteracy rates in Mexico. Nutrition. Most of you do not get the nutrition that you need. Okay? Now, thinking about how the people in Chiapas are living and the natural resources they have, do you think now the Zapatistas are terrorists or revolutionists?
Revolutionists.
Yes?
So, are they like the outlier?
Yes. Yes. Okay? What they are fighting for: improved health care, housing, education, and jobs. Notice this: they have tried peacefully to negotiate with Mexico's government, but nothing has come out of it. So have they tried to negotiate using honesty and talking and peacefully?
Yes.
Yes. Here's a picture of Sub-Commander Marcos, and basically what he's saying here is they have all these natural resources, they're making everybody else rich, but then they have nothing. Okay? NAFTA pops up in 1994. Zapatistas don't like NAFTA at all because now the small farmers that do live in NAFTA are losing their farms because Mexicans can buy cheaper corn and farm products from the United States. So on that day, the Zapatistas took over 7 towns in the state of Chiapas. The Mexican army in the form of Brian was sent in to remove the Zapatistas. It lasted several weeks and then there was a ceasefire. The Zapatistas went away temporarily. Okay? Now here's them taking over in 1994. Now this is unusual because this guy, look at his face. It's not covered. Usually they have their faces covered. Okay? Here's the revolt that was going on. This is when the Mexican army came in to get rid of the Zapatistas. Zapatistas' concerns, again, healthcare, housing, education, jobs. So they did meet with the Mexican government. The government passed something called the Indigenous Rights Bill, which the Zapatistas were happy with until the Congress started changing it. And all of a sudden, these rights that they gave them, they changed it so much that they didn't have any more rights. So guess what happened in 2003? The Zapatistas rose up again, this time armed with machetes. Oh, gosh. They also detained foreigners, meaning people that aren't from Mexico, so maybe someone from the United States or Europe, to try to keep foreigners from investing in Mexico. So, again, are the Zapatistas terrorists or are they revolutionists? It's kind of hard to say. Okay? So, as of today, they still have been working. They've been working with the government. They have provided money and assistance to Chiapas. Do they have as much as they want yet? Of course not. But things have improved because of the Zapatistas and what they're doing for the people of Chiapas. Okay? Jansen, get the light. And that takes us back to James.
That was very interesting, Professor Santana. I can see why this is a confusing issue of debate.
I think our studio audience is pretty smart, James. Let's ask them. How many think they are terrorists? How many think they are revolutionists?
Okay, let's give them a chance to give a result. How many of them think are terrorists?
Terrorists.
Okay, now.
How many think they are revolutionists?
Wow. Terrorists. Go ahead. Go ahead, James.
Interesting results, but I still do not understand how the Zapatista movement has impacted the world.
We have a guest here today to answer that question. Please welcome Rebecca Mansky from the United States. Rebecca, please tell us how the...
Where's Rebecca? Let her come on. Come on, Rebecca. I'm eating my snack.
Rebecca, tell us how the Zapatistas have inspired you.
I am part of a group called...
Louder.
I am part of the group called... Occupy Wall Street. Our group started in 2011 in New York City. We oppose social and economic inequality, which includes greed and corruption. We have used the Zapatista philosophy in our own protest.
Very interesting indeed. Tell us, Ms. Mansky, do you know any other organizations in the world that has also followed the Zapatista philosophy?
Yes, off the top of my head, I can name 2 groups, one from Spain and another from Greece, who are also fighting for equal rights.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but we have run out of time. I hope you have learned as much as I have about whom the Zapatistas are and what they have done. On behalf of Sylvia and myself, happy 20th anniversary, Zapatistas. Good night.
A little bit louder.
James, I know you and I are going out for a steak dinner, but I sure would love to break bread with you myself. How about lunch sometimes? But if you don't mind, you can still go on that date if I'm a nerd.
No, don't take it. You can have it. And you have my blessing.
I don't wanna.
And he calls me the flirt. James, get a hold of yourself, man.
All right, Mia.
You have my blessing.
Quickly,